Peace and greetings from Recipe Oak Cliff. My name is Tisha Crear and I'm the owner here at Recipe, where we serve fresh juice and vegan food. And I'm so excited to be a participant in the 2020 VegFest virtually put on by Feed Oak Cliff. And I want to start by saying thank you to the Feed Oak Cliff team and Miss Anja for making this a possibility and for allowing me the opportunity to participate. I'm really excited because it's such an important event each year. The topic that I'm going to talk about today has to do with the fact that so many of us are becoming vegan and vegetarian and embracing the healthy food lifestyle. And I think that is so important and so valuable because we're understanding how important and how vital what we put into our bodies, how important that is to our health and our well-being, and basically to our survival, especially during these times. So my topic today is, there's levels to this. We'll just talk a little bit about the different types of vegetarian, the different ways to be vegan, the benefits thereof. So the topic today is, there's levels to this. Let's get started. One of the ways that I'd like to be able to talk to you about the levels of vegetarian and veganism is to take a walk through my own personal vegetarian and vegan food journey. I became a vegetarian when I was 14 years old. There was a person in my theater class who was the daughter of hippies and she was telling me all this information about it, and I just found it to be completely fascinating. And so I took it on as a challenge to see if I could, the palette of growing up in the South, I can't even imagine my pancakes without bacon. So this was in the 80s, and during that time there weren't any real meat substitutes, and if there were, I didn't know anything about them. The only thing that I knew about was tofu, and we had a couple of health food stores around, and there was this product out at the time. It was called Nature Burger, and it came in a box, and it was basically dehydrated vegetables and nuts and seeds, and you would boil water and then pour this powder, dehydrated mix into the water, and then form it into a patty and fry it, and we'd put it on some bread and put sprouts and things on it, and that was that was the healthiest thing that I knew. So I ate a lot of cheese sandwiches and a lot of peanut butter and jelly, and then a lot of sides, like mac and cheese and collard greens, and without the meat. My mother was so beautiful at helping me to reinterpret a lot of the food that I was accustomed to eating, but just preparing it without the meat. So there are different types of vegetarians, right? Some people are vegetarian once a week. Some people don't eat any meat products or red meats, but will eat fish, which is called a pescatarian, right? And then there's different forms of vegetarians, like, and this is the way that I learned it, as a lacto or lacto-ovo vegetarians. Lacto meaning milk products, milk and dairy, and ovo meaning eggs. It wasn't until I turned 17 years old and I moved to New York that I learned even the term vegan, and learned about not only not consuming meat products, but the overall lifestyle, and not wearing leather, not participating in the consumption of anything that has to do with animal cruelty. Now, a lot of people care about that, and a lot of people may not care about that aspect of it. So I think that's where the term plant-based really kind of came in for people who maybe don't have the ethical reasons for not eating meat, but don't eat meat do not consume meat. That was one of the most powerful transitions that my body underwent, which was taking out dairy, taking out cheese and eggs and all of the dairy products. My whole entire body, my whole entire anatomy, everything changed. So let's talk about what a plate looks like in a transitional, if you're a transitional vegetarian and transitional vegan, and what you're probably consuming during the day. Now, when you are in the transitional vegan stage, a lot of times you still have the cravings for meat, so it's a lot of times your foods are still prepared the same way that they would be if you were consuming meat. So that means that you're eating a lot, that the transitional diet contains a lot of deep fried vegetables, deep fried mushrooms, wheat meats, texturized vegetable proteins, soy meats, the Beyond Burger, Impossible Burger, Morningstar products, and the Gardein and corn, and all of these products where they're taking where these items are made out of soy or wheat gluten. Consuming, as far as grains are concerned, just your basic grains like white rice, and brown rice, and dairy substitutes like the soy cheese, or now the almond cheese and cashew cheese, and all the different cheese substitutes that are out there. Swapping out the cow's milk for soy milk, or oat milk, almond milk, or even some of these coconut milk drinks. It's just still a lot of breads and heavy sauces and things. And a lot of times when you're in the transitional phases of eating, or if you're having some of the transitional foods, what I'm calling transitional foods right here, there's still a lot of oil. There is still a lot of oil in the preparation, still processed. Looking into some of the other ways of becoming vegan, when you start to ask deeper questions about your food and how it relates to your health. Start to ask questions like, what is this bread made of? What is the flour that is in this bread? How is my food being prepared? What types of oils are being used? Is my food being fried in Wesson? What times of the day? What are the best times of the days to eat? If eating and drinking things at different times of the day, how does that affect my body? How does that affect my health? Start to look at cleansing regimens and fasting, and to explore different types of healing modalities like massage, and yoga, and Reiki, and aromatherapy, essential oils, and how these things are vital in regards to raising our wellness and raising our health. One other really wonderful way of being vegan is the raw and live food philosophies. I ate raw and live food for several years, and it was one of the best journeys I have ever gone on. I learned so much about food, just really what is food. So let's take a look at what raw and live food philosophy is all about. So when you go to eating raw and live food, back in the day when I thought of raw and live food, I honestly thought, just a plate of lettuce. But no. There's so many wonderful, beautiful ways to put your food together without even getting into so many of the complex things that are happening with raw food. Just simply enjoying the food the way it is. No process, no pre-processed artificial foods, no preserved foods, artificially preserved foods, and nothing that is cooked above 115 degrees. So a lot of the essential tools when you go into eating raw and live are, of course, having your food processor or Vitamix and dehydrator. But even without those tools, you can crush things up and utilize the sun and have a really great raw and live food experience. So when it comes to raw and live food, your meats, the meat substitutes or the things that you are dealing with, the meat you're using, the meat from the nuts and the meat from the seeds, to get what you want. So you are making your own milks from nuts, from hemp seeds. You're starting to look at unprocessed, unrefined sweeteners, using dates, using the fruit of the juices, the juice of the fruit, the juice of the fruit, and other unrefined ways to get your sweetness just naturally. And then another one of the great food journeys that I went on that opened my eyes to so many things was studying Dr. Sebi and alkaline foods, cell foods, the electric foods, the non-hybrid, the indigenous foods. And what's so great about that is it's really focused on consuming foods that nourish your cells and electrify your cells with energy. Swapping out your grains like white and brown rice for your higher grains like quinoa and millet and teff and amaranth. The higher grains. Wow! And what a great joy and deliciousness and power-packed sources of energy those higher grains are. Also, you are dealing with only certain oils, like using grapeseed oil, avocado oil, coconut oil. So with the Dr. Sebi Alkaline, there's certain vegetables that you would not consume because they're considered hybrid, things like carrots. And one of the other greatest things on your journey of vegan and vegetarianism is looking at the use of incorporating cleansing and herbs and the value of herbs, because the herbs are going to take your cells and take your body to a whole nother level, of health, wellness, and healing. The thing to remember is there's no judgment for me. There's no judgment for what a person eats, because you can eat what you want and whatever makes you happy and whatever makes you have joy. It's just looking at these different forms of ways to be vegan and vegetarian to see what is the healthiest for you, because we want to make sure that the things that we consume feed ourselves, feed our body, feed our mind, so that we're able to do what we want to do the best way possible, being our very best. So, no judgment, just information. A really great thing to note is that, there's a quote that I really love, and it says, "My culture is my immune system." And when we look at a lot of our cultural foods, our pre-colonialized diets, our indigenous foods, you'll see that before the word vegan was a thing, that culturally our ancestors always embraced eating fresh,